Hello, hello. Friday, 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 y'all. It's time. Come on in. Let's do this. We've got some good stuff for you today. You know what it is. Today is Q&A. Are you ready? Let's see if we can get some people in here. Aha. Saw the first one. There comes a couple more. Come on in, everybody. There's my friend Sue. Hi, Sue. And Haida. Good to see everybody coming in. Thanks for saying hello. And this is the end of the week. What do you think of that? It went fast, didn't it? What a crazy time. Hello there, Yvonne. There's my Whittier girl. There you go. I'm feeling great here in Richmond. This is going fast. Lisa, hello. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Come on in. We've got Q&A today, you guys. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Rita. We have our Q&A today, and I've got some stuff for you. Some good information I think that you're going to really like. We're also going to be talking about being unstuck, if anybody has ever been there. I see Shelly and Kimmy. Kimmy was our comedian last night on the webinar. She had everybody cracking up. Kimmy doesn't use ketone sticks. Kimmy uses tampons instead. If you were there, you would have appreciated it. It was hysterical. Yeah, we appreciated it. We love having, a good laugh, and it was such a good group of women. So if you were there last night, let me know that you were there, and especially if you are, there's my Bobby. If you are joining us in the club, which I'm excited about, we had so many signups. And, you guys, because one of the things that we are doing is I am going to be doing one-on-one consults with this new club. So we're cutting it off today. Sorry, we have to, because I am one person. Most people are going that route. So if this is something that you're interested in, plus we have a great deal, I put the link in the post, which is savingdinner.com/webinar. And tonight at 11:59, it comes down. So if you want to take advantage of that, do that now. And it's not that we're trying to be, mean or anything like that, but I am, like I said, one person. And most people who are signing up are wanting the one-on-one consult. And I get that. It's fun. This is when you get really personal and you can up-level things to a degree that makes your journey exactly uniquely yours. But again, I am one person. So this is it. Today is the day. So get on that. If this is something that you want, go to savingdinner.com/webinar, watch the webinar. And I'm telling you, the webinar itself was only about maybe 40 minutes, but there's a ton of questions and I answer all of them. All of them. I said I'll stay there for 30 minutes to answer questions. I stayed there for an hour and 20 to answer questions. So if there's something there, that's a good thing. Tracy said, I've got to go back and watch the replay. That was the only time I could come get my cows. That is a good excuse. That is a good excuse. You don't have a good excuse if you didn't have to go get your cows. I'm just saying. All right, you guys, shall we? Should we dig in? Okay, we got a lot to cover. And thank you, Rita. She said she was there. She had trouble with the live show, so she watched the replay. Very great. Good. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's a funny thing. It is a platform that we use. We do the best that we can with what we have. There you go. And every once in a while we have issues. So Amy says, hi, Leanne. It was such a good info last night. Thank you, Amy. I loved seeing you there. I said hello when you were there. Thanks for joining us. So before we get started, yes, she did. Caitlin watched it in a parking lot while the family shopped. I think that's awesome. Before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that not only are we going to be going through, I'm going to do the Q&A, I also am going to talk about a little bit about being stuck, because the whole thing that we need to look at is that everything, we don't live in a world where our continuum is just always the same. Is that right? I don't know about you, but there's ups and downs in everything. It's just kind of like, your ketones or your blood sugar. I mean, things go up and they come down, and there's a constant state of flux a constant state of change. And sometimes we're just like super excited and things are going great, and we can't think of a more sunshiny day. But then the next day comes and all of a sudden we're going, do you know what I mean? All of a sudden, somebody comes along with a big fat needle and goes boom to our bubble, and, everything pops. It happens, Unfortunately, that is part and parcel of the whole equation. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But first of all, you need to start inviting some people in. We don't have a lot of people here. And I just wanted to, I'll show you about some fun stuff, because I told you what I'm going to be doing, right? These are my last 2 Saving Dinner books. They are going to be going out next week. 2 books. I'm giving away 2 books. And you know who gets books? People who share this on public and say a little something about why they're sharing this particular Facebook Live, and a little bit about Saving Dinner or me or whatever, so that I know that you're getting this, that this content means something to you. I prepare for these shows every single day, and I do a show 6 to 7 days a week. So there's a lot there. And when I share, when I ask you to share, I'm asking you to care about friends who may be stuck, friends who may be in the same, carousel of crazy that you've been stuck on, and you want to get them out. If you want to share that, thank you for that. 2 books next week. The low carb book. This is the book I wrote for Marla Silly, and it has fantastic stuff in there. So get your friends over in here. This is how we get stuff done. This is how we get stuff done, you guys. Also, if you are one of the many people like me and you've struggled with food addictions or sugar addiction, carb addiction, fill in the blank addiction, this book is for you. Body clutter. We wrote this 15 years ago. 15 years ago. Or 14, I guess. 14 years ago. It came out in 2005, in January of 2005. In January of 2007, Simon & Schuster picked it up, and it went out with mass distribution all over the place, all over the world even. But here's the thing. The nutrition information in there is wrong. So if you read it for the journeys that Marla and I are both on, and the addiction part and all the other stuff, there's some really good stuff in there that's going to help you. And our friend Bobby, who's watching right now, has been sharing in the sprint a chapter at a time, because she's been using this book as therapy. And it's a wise thing, because this book is a therapeutic approach to food addiction and getting it out of your life and being able to, finally beat that monster. And, with food addiction, you know what happens? Food addiction is one of these things that is, you think you've got it, and then you don't. You think you get it, and you okay, that's it. I'm through the tube. I've figured this thing out. And then there's another layer to figure out. And I think if we give ourselves the grace and the love that we need for ourselves to just get through this one particular layer, and understand that there may be another layer, and you're okay with that, and prepare for that, then I think that helps a lot. And we will talk about this in just a second, about being unstuck. In the meantime, for those of you who have signed up for the Hot Milk Club, which I talked about in my webinar last night, and we have a super great code to get you $100 off for a whole year membership, plus getting a consultation from me one-on-one on Zoom, so that we can eyeball to eyeball and talk about what it is that you exactly need to do. This will be coming in the mail for you. This is your Take Back Your Life journal. And inside, I'm trying to do it where my stuff isn't written because it's private. You can see this is working on goals and visions for yourself for 90-day sprints, so that you can really get granular with what it is that you want to do. This is juicy stuff. And I have a workshop that I teach you how to use this. And all of this becomes available to you as a member of the club. And I'm excited to share that with you. So I was just showing you. I wrote this myself because I was so hating everybody's journals that were out there and planners and everything. And if it gets too hard, I'm not going to use it. And I know you're the same way. So if you have a brain like mine, I think this will really help you out. So with that, let's talk about getting unstuck, because we all get stuck. Do you understand that? You get stuck. And what I want you to do is not be discouraged by the stuckness, but instead have some strategies at your disposal so that you're not stuck anymore and that you know what to do. Abe Lincoln, such a good quote. He said, the best way to predict your future is to create it. Okay? And in the future, your stuckness might happen, or your stuckness might not be, in the future. Your stuckness could be right now, today. And I saw a couple of people who said they were stuck. Now, stuck could be a plateau. Stuck could also be a mindset. Stuck could be all of the above. But when you get stuck, you need to unstick so that you can go forward. Nobody wants to be stuck there. Think about it for a minute. If you're driving in your car and your car suddenly goes into neutral, are you going to go forward? No, you might even go backwards. It's a dangerous thing. You're driving your car. You don't want this. What you want is you want to keep going forward. That's what it's all about. You're on a road. You have a destination in mind. You don't want to put the car in neutral. But that's what happens with stuck. Stuck puts us in neutral. Sometimes stuck slams on the brake and puts us in reverse. And this is how I want to give you some strategies on how to handle this. Because at the very essence of what you need to understand is that we get what we attract. We don't get necessarily what we want. You can write this one down. This one, to me, was a 2x4 to the head. You get what you attract, not necessarily what you want. Okay? This is huge stuff. This is really huge stuff. And I want you to understand that. Einstein said the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. And being stuck is usually all around this inability to change, or this uncomfortableness, this uncomfortable feeling that we have with change, and we don't necessarily want to go there, So uncertainty, and that's what it is. It is uncertainty, isn't there? There's uncertainty when you take on something new. And the tolerance of uncertainty is also our tolerance and our prognostication, if you will, into the future of how well you'll succeed. And this is why I will say to you, and you've heard me say this a few times, embrace the plan. Like when we're talking about the sprint. And I use the sprint as a good example because the sprint is open to everyone. It's 100% free. And if you don't know what I'm talking about and you need to get rid of some inflammation or body clutter or whatever, go to savingdinner.com/sprint. It's a 17-page plan. Everything is done for you, and you can see exactly what this whole thing is about. But I'm not going to lie, going forward and looking at something like this, especially if you're stuck in the same old thing, you have some carb addictions that you're dealing with or whatever, getting into that place of taking on this plan can be a little intimidating. But it doesn't have to be, especially if you just say, you know what, I'm just going to trust in the process. I'm just going to take on this plan as if it's something, that I need to do in order to make things work for me. That's what the whole thing's about. You need to make it work for you. You make it work for you by making a decision. And remember, when we flip the switch, that is one decision that you've made. And you are one decision away from changing your life. Can you imagine how cool that is when you embrace that? And that is exactly what it's about when I say to you that you need to embrace this plan. You need to plan for the plan and work this out as if you are planning for a big party that's going to be happening in your backyard next week, or your wedding even. I mean, just that kind of serious attention to the plan. Don't wing it. Don't just hope Don't ask people for advice and help when you haven't even taken the time to read through the plan. Don't add don't be adding just whatever recipes and food that you want to the plan. 7 days, follow it exactly and see what happens. And from what I've seen a lot of people who've had tremendous success. And that even comes from a place of people who've been intimidated by it, a little bit nervous about it, but instead of saying no, they said yes, and they unstuck themselves by going forward. And this is what it's about. Listen, your brain hates change. It wants predictability. It doesn't like the uncertainty. It doesn't like this, like, what are you talking about? I've got to make some bone broth. I got to make vinaigrette. I have salad dressing in a bottle in the kitchen. I've got all these other things. What is all this stuff about? So here's the thing. When you decide that enough is enough and that you're ready to go forward and you tell your brain to shut up, this is what we're doing, you create a new pathway. You create a new thing in your life when you decide that you're no longer going to be listening to this kind of garbage. Because you are on a path for changing things up. You're on a path for unsticking. You're on a path to get rid of the plateau. You're on a path for losing weight. You're on a path for getting rid of the inflammation. You are on a path. And you create that path not only with what you're doing in your life and what's going on in your kitchen and how you're printing 17 pages out and you're highlighting it and doing all of this, but you're also creating a path in your brain. And when we create those paths, both physically with what we're doing and mentally in our heads, then we can unstick. Whatever stuckness this is. Is stuckness a word? It is now. So doing something new creates an opportunity, and new opportunities present themselves to you. New opportunities for connection with people and friends you didn't know you had. Getting yourself a body clutter buddy. Getting yourself into a new experience and finding out that you're a whole lot stronger than you ever thought you were. Right? Digging deep and not giving yourself the slack that you've been giving yourself all these years, not dismissing, not rationalizing, but instead embracing and going forward. That unsticks you. So I look at this, that when I see the success that I have seen with every single participant in the sprint are the people who were stuck, who've decided to become unstuck. The people who have decided to become unstuck. I'm not going to be stuck anymore. I'm not going to be ignorant. I'm not going to pretend that this doesn't exist anymore. I'm going to embrace where I am. I'm going to take my weight. I'm going to take my measurements. I'm going to get a glucose monitor. I'm going to get a ketone monitor. I'm going to pee on a stick. Now, you don't have to do that, but you can, and it will give you information and tell you where you are. It will give you information, tell you where you are, and tell you the truth about your blood sugar. Tell you the truth about your ketone level. Tell you the truth about what you're doing. Are you doing it? Are you stuck? You get unstuck when you create confidence through your behavior. Now, I will tell you, this is something I have seen, personally witnessed, watched with my own eyes since the day I walked into Brevard, North Carolina. I have watched Marla Silly every single step of the way. The more information she got, the more confident she became. It affected her behavior. It affected her choices. Everything she's done, flicking the switch continually. And what have we seen? You've seen it yourself. You've watched on her videos. You've seen this the incredible shrinking fly lady, which is what I've been calling her. But there it is right there. Blood sugar's coming down, ketone levels going up, inflammation coming down. She's 100% changing before your eyes. So I invite you to look at what unstuck looks like. That's unstuck. When you get stuck, it starts here in your head. And you tell yourself, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't whatever. I don't like this, I don't like that, I can't drink coffee, I don't like this, I don't like the vinegar, I'm going to add all these things to the plan. Really? Okay. Or do you want to get out of the stuckness and just for 7 days stay with the plan? For 7 days, That's it. What happens when you stay with something for 7 days? First of all, you prove to yourself that you don't know everything, right? And that your stuckness has taken you to a downward spiral that has produced the same results over and over again. And what does Einstein say about that? Doing the same thing over and over again, what does that produce? Insanity. It is insane. It's crazy. So behavior is the first thing. It's the brave and courageous thing, but it creates the confidence that you need to create the momentum that turns into motivation, just like we talked about yesterday. All of this is all very tightly connected. And when we can see the connections, we can connect that in our heads and change everything. So listen, what you put your attention on, that creates your intention. What you put your attention on creates your attention. Okay? And if you don't believe me, look at Marla Silly. At 3 o'clock today, look at her sitting in her chair. There's more chair around her than there's ever been. I love what Janice says. It's an amazing 7-day plan that kicks off a lifetime of changes. Yes. Who would have thought that a 7-day anti-inflammatory plan could do more than just, make you feel better? It does a lot because it goes right into your brain and it shows you just how important every little facet of this is. And it shows you how strong you are, how powerful you are, and how much you haven't ever seen this before in yourself. And I want you to harness that power, for heaven's sakes. That's why we're doing the Hot Milk Club, right? Because we're taking women to the next level. I want to help you transform your life. I want to coach you. I want to take you to that place. This is what we're about. So savingdinner.com/webinar. Watch it today. There's a deal in there, and there's also a lot of really good information where I'm going to give you 10 concrete steps to understanding how a keto diet works in your life. There's a bunch of stuff in there. I'm calling them secrets because why not? But really, this is all the stuff that I have been privy to as I've worked hard on my research and I found these things out. Like, who knew sleep could be so important? But it is. Who knew all these different things? This is what we need to look at. Robin's asking me what I think about cider. It's sugar. So take your water bottle with you. Take some tea. Do something else. But if you're trying to get rid of the sugar in your life, cider's isn't going to work for you. Apple cider vinegar? Go for it. Alrighty. So that's what we have. It is $100 off for the Hot Milk Club, and you get a one-on-one consultation with me when you go for the yearly option. And today's the last day because that's all I can do. Okay? So check it out. All right, so let's go with some Q&A. I've got some really good questions, and we're going to get a little granular on some of these. So take a look at this. And by the way, there's a lot more coming. We have a weekly teaching that is going to be happening in the Hot Milk Club weekly for 52 weeks out of this year. And I have a whole curriculum on that, Are beans okay to eat? I don't know what you mean by beans. You'll have to be more specific. Beans can be green beans. Green beans are fine. Black beans, no. It depends. It depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to stay in the hot melt zone, you definitely don't want to be eating any kind of beans or legumes, okay? All right, Tracy asked, I noticed when I get up at 6 a.m. versus 8, my stomach starts wanting food. But if I get later, I can go till 2 before needing a Target trifecta smoothie. I have a glass of water and then coffee regardless of what time I get up. Just wondering any other suggestions for holding on breaking my fast. So here's what you have to look at for breaking your fast. First of all, how long do your hunger pangs last? Hunger is a funny thing. It comes in waves. If it stays incessantly with you, that means your body is telling you it's time to eat. If you've trained your leptin and your ghrelin, and I cannot emphasize this enough, for most people who've been grazing continually, eating the standard American diet, lots of garbage, all of that, you are going to find yourselves in a place of wanting to eat more. You're going to find yourself more hungry. Really, it's in having a harder time because this is your past diet and now you're completely changing it up. And especially because in the sprint, we recommend, that you go 12 and 12, 12 hours of fasting and 12 hours of feasting. So you have a 12-hour window to eat your meals and you have a 12-hour window of eating nothing. So that takes care of the after dinner snacky snack, right? But you also don't want to be eating between meals. And if you're used to being one of these people that eats between meals, you're going to have a little bit of a challenge to get over. So a couple of things. First of all, make sure that your electrolytes stay high. I drink the hot melt mix, but you can also get these they're Nun tablets. And this is a very inexpensive thing, and it will help with the keto flu. So does the hot melt mix. The hot melt mix, though, also has ketones in it, and it gets you right into ketosis right away. So it has extra stuff in it. It's a better product, way better product than Nuns, but Nuns is very affordable, and it will keep you out of the flu, the keto flu, the low carb flu, as you're transitioning over. So getting your ghrelin, which is the gremlin, that's the one that grumble makes you hungry, and leptin, which tells you, hey, time to stop eating. You've had enough food. You're satisfied. But you break your leptin. Obesity breaks your leptin. It's the belly fat. It breaks your leptin. You train it back by fasting. You train it back by throwing back, like cutting out the carbs and getting your carbs really low. You cut it back by being well hydrated. So that's how you get it, but it takes some doing and it takes a little repair. So that's what that's all about. And I understand, the sleeping thing and everything, and why is that? That's just your body. That's your body telling you whatever it's telling you. But this is what I want you to know. It is not difficult to train your ghrelin and your leptin. You just have to be aware of it. That's it. You have to be aware of it. If you're not aware of it, you can't fix it. And if you're not aware of it, you're going to freak out and say, oh my gosh, there's just nothing I can do. I have to go, eat some crackers. I have to go snack. You don't want to do that. You just don't want to do that. You want to train them. They're just like two toddlers that are throwing a tantrum in the middle of Target, and you have to love them up, bring them back, and just let them know that, hey, it's okay. Let's go down the next aisle. And no, you can't have that. It's totally like toddlers. All right. So Jane asked, does the Nuns come in a liquid? She looked at Amazon and couldn't tell. I don't think so. As far as I know, I'm not an expert on this. So, that's your research is as good as mine. I have no idea. So take a look at that. And she said she doesn't understand the association between keto flu and diet changes. Well, let me tell you about that. What's going on here is you're changing fuel sources. You are changing fuel sources. You're going from being a sugar burner, which means that it's from the carbs. You get the glucose easy to grab from the carbs, and it goes into your cells immediately. Anything that's left over, it goes into your liver for storage in the form of glycogen. And if your liver's already full and there's not a lot, guess where it goes to? It goes to belly fat. Yay! Because your insulin is surging and your insulin says, hey, we might need this for later. So store that. We don't like that. This is why we keep the carbs low, because if we keep the glucose low, the insulin's not going to surge like that. You see how this all works? It's very good. Your body's really smart. Your body's really smart. So as you are changing over, there's a couple of things going on. Your body's a little bit more under stress, so you might have difficulty sleeping, but that's not a big deal. Just chamomile, Calm, drink the Calm. You can buy it, at Walmart, for heaven's sake. So it's a supplement. You can buy it, put it in an envelope, put it in a drink, and down the hatch. It's good stuff. And it'll help you. Take an Epsom salt bath. We talked about that last night. But there's things that you can do in order to bring your body into a place of just calming the heck down and feeling better. But there is a switch over. And as you're changing this up, you're changing your body's chemistry, for heaven's sakes. So we just honor that and understand what's going on. And you don't have to understand every single metabolic switch over. But what you do need to understand is, here it is. This is what's going on. Here's how I can combat that. Okay? And we have tools. We have tools. I've just told you about the hot melt mix. I told you about the nuns. I also told you about the Epsom salt baths and just like calming down. Meditation is a big thing as well. All of these things come into play. And Lucy's asking, is melatonin okay? Yes, it is. But understand about melatonin. Melatonin should be done in very, very low doses. And it should be done 3 to 4 hours before bed. Taking it right before bed and expecting to go to sleep is not going to work. I would take it right after dinner. And again, the lower the dose, the better. Because oftentimes it's just a matter of triggering your own melatonin. And also melatonin is triggered when you're sleeping in a dark, cool room. Dark, 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 dark. So those little night lights and whatever. I mean, so much so, our bathroom, I can see into my bathroom. And if I see my toothbrush, my electric toothbrush and my Clarisonic, they're both on little stands and they have lights. And if I see those lights, I have to go into the bathroom, take them off their stands so that I can go to sleep. Our room is black and I sleep like a baby. And this is what your body's used to, and this is how it works. It shuts things down. You need full dark, and you need a cool room. Don't turn on the heat and bake yourself. You need a cool room. And especially anybody here who's ever had a hot flash, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Bone broth has much sodium, but you said headaches might be the cause of low electrolytes. Okay, also my blood pressure was up. Your blood pressure can go up because of cortisol. Cortisol levels go up a little bit as you are transitioning into being a what am I trying to say? A fat burner, sorry. Yeah, so that is a temporary thing, so watch that. It also dissipates when you're drinking enough fluid. So make sure you're getting that electrolyte drink in that I just showed you, the hot melt and or the nuns, whatever it is that you're going to be using. You're drinking enough water. And by the way, a question that Bobby put in, she was asking, what counts for hydration? Everything that you drink. So even your coffee. Can you believe that? They changed that. The new studies have shown that even coffee can be hydrating. Thank you for that, God. Thank you. I drink a lot of coffee in the mornings. Drink like 3 cups. But anyway, coffee is hydrating. So it's the caffeine that you need to worry about. If it keeps you up, then don't. But you don't have to worry about the dehydrating effects of caffeine. It's not a thing. Tea, anything, bone broth, all of that adds to your water for the day. And you should be drinking half your body weight in ounces in water. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you should be drinking 75 ounces of water or bone broth or the combination liquids per day. That's what you need to do. Okay. All that is to ask, is hot melt low or high sodium? Well, it can be high sodium if you just salt the heck out of everything, but it's a low sodium thing. And I don't know if you're asking if hot melt mix is low sodium. No, it's not. It's an electrolyte. It has electrolytes in it. It's got sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Those 3 things are critical for keeping your electrolytes up. Electrolytes keep you hydrated. Electrolytes mean that all these things that I was talking about, especially the low carb flu and all of that, are going to help to dissipate it. But this one has, hot melt mix has the incredible bonus of putting you immediately into ketosis. So that's one of the good things. That's why I drink it all the time. It really helps. Okay. Sue said, you need to bake the bones before you make the broth. My husband had someone tell him this. He wanted to know if I could pass this on to you. All right, Sue, so here's the thing. Here's the thing you need to look at. When you're doing beef bones, I always recommend that you roast them first. I would roast them, take a big roasting pan, put in your beef bones, put in onions, celery, and garlic. Those are the 3 things that you always put in when you're making a broth. Some fresh thyme, some rosemary. I'd put in whole cloves of garlic, right? And then when you roast them up, a little salt and pepper, put a little avocado oil over the top so they get nice and golden brown. And the whole house should just smell like a magnificent beef roast cooking, right? And when they're nice and golden brown, and you do it about 400 degrees, nice hot oven, open, don't cover them, then you'll steam them. You want to dry roast them. In other words, you want the oven to be able to get in there, and you don't want to have a steam created by the foil over the top. And then when it's done, let it cool, and then put all of that into an Instapot or whatever it is that you're going to be using, a crock pot, and then do the water to the fill level, add in some apple cider vinegar, some salt and pepper, and there you go. Bingo! That's how you make bone broth. And you do the same thing with chicken bone broth, but you don't have to necessarily roast the bones. You can. Now, the best bone broth that I make is when I have roasted bones, when I have a bunch of bones left over from a roasted chicken that I made, and I keep those in the freezer. And then I'll add in some chicken feet, and you get the gel on there and the flavor going. It's just incredible. It's the same thing, the same idea, same spices, same salt, same pepper, same everything, same fill line. And you just, on an Instant Pot, we're talking 2 hours. And in a crock pot, we're talking a few days. You really want to go about 72 hours on that. That's why if smelling it all the time kind of gags you, which that was me. Marla said the same thing. Go put it in the garage or something and let it cook there. Just watch the water level. Sometimes you have to add more water. Okay? That's how that works. Next, Joanne says, is there more than one kind of vinegar you like for making salad dressing? Yes, I like any kind of salad dressing vinegars. I do, any kind. I'm going to tell you there's one thing that you don't want though, white vinegar. White vinegar is really not good for anybody to eat. Okay, it's just way too high. The acidic acid is very high in it, and it's a little rough on you. Okay, so here's what you need to do: is any kind of vinegar that you like. It's the same salad dressing recipe that I gave on Marla's show, and it's this. It's a 3-to-1 thing. You've got 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Use a good one. We love fresh pressed olive oil, and both Marla and I send an email when it's available. This stuff is great. You can get a free bottle and try it, and you can find that on our website, under Leanne Recommends, and find out about that. So we do that like every 3 months or something. We'll send it when they get a new batch in. Their olive oil is tremendous. And then the second thing is the vinegar. And you can use any vinegar you want. If you're going to use a balsamic, though, watch the sugar. Some of balsamics are not the same as others. You want a Modena balsamic vinegar that comes from Italy, and that it's naturally fermented, aged a long time, costs a little bit more money. You don't want sugar added. If it has sugar added, that's not for you. It's naturally sweet, but there's very little in the sugar carbs. And you're using a tablespoon, and that's going to be going for how many salads? So you might get like a taste of a little bit of a carb there, but it's not anything to get excited about. So can you see this? Look at this. I'm having a hot flash. I thought I would just tell you all about my misery here. So that's how you do it. You can use rice wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar. You can use any kind of vinegar that you want. I use a little bit of Dijon, probably about a teaspoon. I use a clove or 2 if it's Marla and me. We do 2 cloves of garlic because we are girlfriends that like garlic. Thank God. Otherwise, I think we'd hate each other's company. But I can't smell the garlic on her, and I don't think she can smell it on me. But that's what you do, and that's it. And then you just take a little whisk and whisk it together. It'll emulsify, and it makes the most gorgeous dressing. You can get rid of buying all those expensive, gross salad dressings that come in a bottle. Bingo. All right. And then Joanne asked, does real butter have cholesterol in it these days? Yes. It's always had cholesterol, and it always will. I don't know of a cow that doesn't produce cholesterol in their milk. Okay, Alice asked me, I want to say a big thank you to you for all the help that you give us. You and Marla are truly godsends. My question is this. Okay, this is a good one. I had my gallbladder out about 2 years ago. Do you have any suggestions on how to make my digestion easier and better on the hot milk lifestyle change? Yes, I do, Alice. Marla was just talking about this, and I don't have a bottle. I gave it to her. I don't have a bottle to show you, but we have this product called Digeszymes. Okay, Digeszymes are help you with your digestion, because here's the thing. If you are a dumper, meaning that you, because of your gallbladder, after you eat, you go to the bathroom and there goes your dinner right down the toilet. My worry for you and my concern for you is that you're not getting the nutrition you should be getting out of your meals. So in order to prevent this, and also I don't want to see you having to take, Tums and, all these digestive fill in the blank things that you can get at the drugstore. What is going on here is your digestion needs help. Okay? So let's help your body to digest and not block, instead of, what happens is your body rebels, and then you want to block the pain that you're feeling. So you take a Tums, and the Tums then just takes all of those digestive enzymes that are trying really hard and working really hard to digest your food, and it just stops them in its track. And it helps because now you're not getting the acid reflux, but what it's doing inside of you, now you're not digesting anything. Now you're not digesting anything, and you are wreaking havoc on your poor digestive system. The first thing is, so understand the gallbladder holds the bile that the liver produces. Yes, Digeszymes. It's on my website, Jan. Your body holds, the gallbladder holds the bile that the liver produces. The bile is made to help break down fat in particular. So when you don't have that, it's freelancing and it's going all over the place in your body. So you need some extra help, even though some of it is going to make it inside, some of it isn't. You need the help. So let's give you the help. Our Digeszymes help you with the digestion of protein, the digestion of fat, and the digestion of carbohydrates, and it helps for your body so it can assimilate and use all that nutrition that you just took the time to eat, okay, and prepare and purchase. Because I will tell you, the one thing is, if you are eating food and it's $10 worth of food and you're getting $1 worth of nutrition because you're dumping it all out, that's not good for your body. That's not good for your body. Your body is letting you know, hey, I need some help. I need some digestion help, so come to my aid. Listen, women after the age of 35, we naturally start losing our digestion enzymes and our capabilities. This is how it works. In your mouth, the first thing that you have in your mouth, it's called amylase. Amylase is in your saliva. It doesn't develop until you're about a year old. So that's why I always say, don't feed your babies rice cereal until after a year old. They don't have the digestive capabilities for it. This is why kids start developing eczema and what have you when you introduce solid food. Wait till after a year old. That's when they develop their amylase, right? Buckwheat cereal would work. And that's a fruit. It's not and a grass. It's not a grain. You can't digest grains without amylase, okay? So amylase starts here. You've got sphincters all the way up right in your throat. You've got one right before your stomach. You've got one after your stomach. And then everything in there is working and releasing some kind of a digestive enzyme to help with whatever it is that you're eating. Now, if we need help, you know what we need to do? We need to go and say, all right, Uncle, give me some digestive enzymes. It makes all the difference. It makes all the difference. You go from throwing a steak, eating a steak and feeling like you've just eaten a brick, to now you're able to digest it, take it apart. You don't feel like you've just eaten a brick. You feel human again. I remember I did a workshop at my house with my Take Back Your Body ladies, and we had, the whole table. I was passing the digestive enzymes because we had these gorgeous little fillets that we were having, delicious. But, all my ladies are going, I don't know about the steak. And I said, hey, I can fix that. And they all agreed, this is what would help. So anyway, just check out the Digeszymes. We have them on savingdinner.com and in the supplement store, and they work. I suggest 2 bottles. 1 bottle for at home on your kitchen counter, and keep another one in your purse. Because honestly, once you've tried them, and you can digest again without all that other garbage, you're going to be feeling like a new woman. Letha said, since I've been eating healthy, I've not had acid reflux. And that will happen. But again, if you're missing a gallbladder, a lot of times we just need that extra help. And I always recommend this, especially doing the hot melt sprint, because there's extra fat and you don't have the digestive capability as somebody who has their gallbladder, because that bile is not emptying like it would normally. Yeah, your bile is freelancing. Remember I said that? That's important. Okay. That's going to help you out a lot, Alice. And I hope I hope you heard this. How do I know if I'm getting enough fat in my diet? This is Letha, especially if I'm only eating one meal a day. Thank you for your time. I appreciate everything you do for us. There's Letha, I see you. All right. So here's the thing, Letha. When you're eating enough fat in your diet, if the needle is moving, if you feel good, you're losing weight, you have energy, all of that, then you're getting enough fat in your diet. Try adding a little bit more and a little bit less protein if you've gotten on a plateau. But always be looking to see how you're feeling. Check in with yourself, because that's the most amazing thing that we can do. We're not forever going to be eating one meal a day, right? One meal a day is sort of a thing that will help you it's going to help you with your weight loss. It's not something that is going to be a daily thing forever and ever, amen. And as a matter of fact, this is what Marla does. She does a one meal a day. She fasts for 23 hours, and then she has an hour eating window that she does. The minute it stops working, she'll be on to something else, because I'll be all over her like white on rice. Shake the box. It's time to shake the box. So we do this for as long as it works. We do it for as long as it works, and then it's time to go do something different. Your body adjusts. And when it starts saying, aha, I know what you're doing here, and it wants to keep you at a set point, that's when we change things up. So for right now, this is working for you, Letha. You're losing weight, you feel good, and all of that. Do you have enough fat? I don't know. Do you? If you don't feel good, or if you're feeling like, it's hurting your gallbladder a little bit because of all the fat or the missing gallbladder that you have, add the digestimes in there. I highly recommend those digestimes for anybody who has any kind of compromised digestive issue. And of course, if you're under a doctor's care and you've got other things going on with your digestion, talk to your doctor about it. But it's amazing to me that doctors don't know about these things, and that they're going to give you a protonics. They're going to give you, they're going to do all these different things, all the things that they do. This is ridiculous. You don't necessarily need to do that. Letha's down 22 pounds this morning. Wow. I think you're doing something right, Letha. I think you're doing something right. Okay. So Bobby, I answered your hydration question, and now Cindy is asking, I will be flying from New York to Arizona in December with my daughter and granddaughter, approximately an 8 to 9 hour flight with layovers. Airport food is so expensive and not the healthiest. What do you suggest I bring with me on the plane for us to eat? Thank you, and blah, blah, blah. Hopefully I'll be able to listen to your live show, but if not, I'll listen to the replay. Well, good, because this is where it's going to be. Okay, Cindy, so one of the things you can do is, you didn't say how old your granddaughter is, but if you have an older granddaughter or, a younger ones, you're going to have to, provide the snacks. And I like Paleo Valley, which is one of my companies. I think it's on the Leanne Recommends page. They have some meat sticks that I really like. They have different meat sticks. They have turkey, they have beef, and they're all from grass-fed animals, and they are clean. There's not a bunch of weird icky stuff in them, and they don't, lots of gelatin and stuff like that. Super clean, and I love those. And you can order them, and I think they give you a discount for a first-time order. But anyway, those are really good. I also like taking a variety of different nuts. Now, I would break them out into different little bags, for sure, do a different little bag, and take those with you. Again, I don't know how old your granddaughter is, but if your granddaughter is, older, and something you might want to do is take a Target Trifecta smoothie that you can both just shake up in a bottle and drink. And, you can, it's tough. What I would do is I would have everything ready to go in a little Ziploc baggie. And then, well, Kimmy, I'm going to answer that. have everything to go in a little Ziploc baggie with your little dry stuff. And then when you get on the other side of security, buy water and shake it up yourself. And you can do, well, you can't see this. This is my bottle of, in the bottle of this, I have one of those springy things. And it just kind of shakes it all up. But, you know, it'll work. And you might get a couple little clumps, but it'll work. And I'll tell you, a Target Trifecta smoothie is going to keep you on the straight and narrow, because we're only talking about 8 to 9 hours. It's not that hard. And you can, you know, fast as long as you can. Make sure you're hydrating. And then the snacks, you know, some meat, some whatever, and maybe some celery sticks and, you know, some zucchinis and whatever you want to do, really. You can even take a meal with you if you wanted. You're not going to be able to take anything liquid like, you know, hot milk mix already mixed up, or any kind of your hot milk soup or anything like that. So that's what you do when you're eating out. Target Trifecta everything. You know what to do. You know what the thing is, and that's basically how the whole thing works. All right. I cannot believe I've done this for so long, for not even an hour, and here we are. I think I've got all of these. I did all the questions. So that's what it's all about. And yeah, you can do packets of tuna and chicken. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's another thing that you can do. But you know, it's just a matter of, it's 8 to 9 hours. That's nothing in the sprint community, is it? Especially if you're practicing any kind of intermittent fasting. So if you start out with the Target Trifecta first thing in the morning, even before you leave the house, and you've got 4 to 5 hours before you need to eat anything. And that's when you can dig into a little bit of protein. You can even take an avocado and slice it up right there on the plane. There's all kinds of things that you can do. You can even take another smoothie with you, and like I said, mix it up. But again, for your granddaughter, I have no idea how old she is. It really depends, because if she's, used to eating a bunch of goldfish and crackers and stuff like that, then, have fun with that. So Norma's asking, for those of us who are new, what is the Target Trifecta? This is how we create our plates, Norma. So a Target Trifecta has 3 things in it. You've got, the first one is your protein, and then you've got your fat, and then you've got your fiber. And your fiber, the way we do fiber around here is, we add it into a Target Trifecta smoothie in the form of Fiber Mender, but we also add it to our plates in the form of greens. We're big on greens. Greens are super anti-inflammatory, and most of us are nutrient deficient, and this is how we get the greens in for our nutrients, and it's how we get our fiber. For the protein, we're looking at 3 to 6 ounces of protein. And then for the fat, we're looking at avocado, like a whole half of an avocado, or some nuts, or salad dressing on our salad, and all of those different things, which really help. And again, you heard me talk about the salad dressing. I am anti-bottled dressing. Most of it is crap, and the stuff that isn't is extraordinarily expensive. And we don't need that, do we? I don't think so. So make my dressing. It's great. Go to savingdinner.com/sprint, Norma, and you can pick up your own plan. And everything is in there. And there are people right now who are doing the sprint. We start again, though, on November 4th as a community. And this is going to be the 3rd time around. 3rd time's a charm. And this is when we're going to make things happen. Make things happen. Shake the box. Clear the decks. It's fantastic. So that's what I have for you today, guys. This was a good show today, and I really appreciate your great comments on Monday. On Monday, look what I have for you on Monday. savingdinner.com. Saving Dinner, The Low Carb Way. 2 books going out. 2 books. And that will be going out on Monday. You'll hear all about that. So make sure you tune in to Monday's show. How you get the book is by sharing this. Sharing is caring. You share by making this a public comment so that everybody that comes across your feed can see it, and making a comment about this particular video and how it helped you. Because I look for that stuff. I'm the one who chooses the winners, guys. And then the club is starting. The club is starting on the 28th, I believe. You get into the hot melt. All the information is, if you join the club, you're going to find out. All the information is there. There's teachings that are going to be starting right away. And there's a lot of really, really good stuff. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about you joining and becoming a part of it. One thing I'm going to do is say that you need to read Body Clutter book. We all have food issues, don't we? You know what? If you have any body clutter, you've got a food issue. I promise you, you do. This book deals with that. It starts with the first layer of that onion, and your onion looks different than mine. You know, can we just agree that we all have onions that need peeling? The other thing is very exciting about this. This is your Take Back Your Life journal. It's a journal for women who desire real change. And we do it in 90-day increments. And we get really dialed in. And you thought you were dialed in for the sprint? Wait till you see about this. Claudia, if you want to join, go watch the webinar. Go to savingdinner.com/webinar and you'll get in. Okay, well, you'll get in. You can watch the webinar, get all your questions answered. And today is the last day for the $100 discount. And if you join for the year, you get me for a 30-minute consultation, one-on-one. We get on Zoom. We see each other eyeball to eyeball. And I'll go through your questionnaire and help you to get a personalized plan that works just for you. How exciting is that? I'm so excited about this. So listen, just get on it, you guys. This weekend is the best time to get this going. Well, today is the best time to get this going, especially if you want to save a few bucks. Go to savingdinner.com/webinar and you'll learn all about it. And you know what? No pressure. If you're saying, oh, I just can't do this, whatever. There is a lot of really good actionable information there. There are 10 secrets that I'm going to tell you all about being keto. Because there's so much bad information out there, and I'm out there to bust a move to make sure that you don't get sucked into what I'm calling the Pinterest diet phenomenon. And there's so much junk out there. And you know what? I've spoken to a lot of people who have really suffered at keto's hands. I'm taking all of the misinformation out of it. I'm cleaning it up, and I'm making it actionable for you. Look, we've had a lot of success in our sprint group. I want to see you take it to the next level. So go to savingdinner.com/webinar, and hopefully I'm going to see you at the club. It's going to be cool. Thank you for joining me today. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Look, there's a Leanne. Hi, Leanne. Nice to meet you. Leanne. Thank you, Val. The webinar, she said, was very informative. And I'll tell you, it was something that I really enjoyed doing. I love doing webinars. It's one of my favorite things to do. So if you have any questions, well, you know where to find me. I'm in the sprint group. I'm in the Saving Dinner group. I'm in this hot milk diet group. And soon you'll see me at the club on October 28th. Thanks so much again for joining me. Peace out, guys. Have a good one. Bye.